About it.
Now let's talk about the election. There's some polls that have recently come out that show that Trump does have a slight lead in some key states. If you start with Pennsylvania, in 2024, this year, Biden's getting 47% and Trump is getting 49%. 4 years ago, it was the opposite. Biden was winning by almost 50% and Trump was getting almost 49%.
Another one of the key states that everybody's looking at, especially both camps, is what's happening in Arizona. One of the biggest upsets, controversy with Arizona, how it was called, when it was called, and who actually won it. Right now, Trump's got a 4-point lead. I think a lot of that, if you drill down on it, has to do with immigration. That could flip quick. Yep. That's how Senator Sinema won. McSally was winning for a while. And we know the governor's race is still a stunner to Kari Lake.
Meanwhile, how's your family situation? Now, take a look at this in both Arizona and Pennsylvania. So this is probably pretty, actually, these numbers track pretty much across the board. Is your family's financial situation getting ahead? Only about 14% say they are. 45% say they are holding steady, but as you can see, about 40% say that their families are falling behind, and that is not good news.
It's a similar story when you get to Arizona as well. 14 getting ahead, 14%, 45% holding steady, and then 40% falling behind. I think that's going to be the Achilles heel for the administration, not just immigration, but they keep trying to explain it away when it comes to these numbers showing that, you know, the stock market is doing well, people are getting jobs, but as you can see, people just can't make ends meet. Right. And I think part of it is because of all the inflation that they had to deal with before. Credit card debt is unbelievable when it comes to average day Americans. So imagine you're finally getting some money in, but you still have all this debt that you're trying to catch up with. Right. It's just not the best economic situation.
Well, you mentioned immigration, and we got a poll for that too.
Right. This is the Arizona. This is the people of Arizona. 26% of Democrats think it's a big deal. Look at the number of Republicans. 77% independents, that's what everyone's going for, 50%. Remember the crucial Senate race there with Kari Lake, and it looks like it's going to be Gallego. He's been, you know, Kari Lake's been very strong on the border. She's been there, and I don't see much from the Democratic governor. She speaks out once in a while. The other senator, Mark Kelly, only when it's convenient, doesn't even fix the holes in the wall in Arizona.
So I'm surprised by this because Arizona always talks about how there's so many immigrants coming in over their border. Right. And when we go to the diners, they all say this is the #1 issue for them. But only 26% of Democrats say this is a problem for them. They think it's extremely important. Maybe some of them think it's important, but not extremely.
Ainsley, I think the number screened right there. 50% of independents say it's a problem. That means 50% say it's not.
Right. Yeah, the independence is going to be big, and they've been more and more independents in Arizona, which was once a territory when Barry Goldwater first established himself there. Let's talk about this. Friction between the White House and the campaign on the messaging. For example, if their campaign's coming out and saying, well, Donald Trump wants to blow up NATO, really wants to blow up NATO? Well, who's trying to blow up NATO when you're sitting there and take Hungary, a NATO, a member of NATO, a critical member of NATO, if not a little bit controversial, but you rip Viktor Orban and you say he's a dictator. Really? Are you talking about Vladimir Putin? Or are you talking about a NATO member? And that is not a good message. So the White House and the campaign keep referring each other back and forth to it.
And it looks,
and they're talking about one wants to get reelected, one, I assume, wants to govern.
Well,
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, we're looking at Joe in New Hampshire a couple of days ago. He's going to Michigan today to do some fence mending. And you got to figure part of it is the fact that 100,000 people who voted uncommitted during the Michigan primary shocked him. So he's got to get them all back on board. But to the point about, you know, the campaign and the White House are on two different tracks, Brian. Look, as far as our next talking point, which is going to be TikTok. The campaign loves TikTok because that's how they connect with the young people, anybody under 35. But at the same time, the White House is saying the president will sign it. So it's like, hey, you guys are saying, let's get rid of TikTok, but let's keep TikTok.
Well, the problem
it's confusing.
They're having is one side is saying, Mr. President, you got to get the independents. You got to get more people in the base because right now you're losing when it comes to the average day American. But then you got the other side that says, let's just rally the Democrats. And I think the biggest example is the State of the Union. I mean, he did what he needed to do to woe the media, woe Democrats. But when you look at the latest polling, he got no bump from the State of the Union because the average day American is like, you're yelling at me. You're not talking about any plan of actions. Democrats love it, but as you look at the polling that we just showed you need the independents, and he's losing with them right now.
And I'll tell you, if you thought he was just going to sit in the basement, he's not. He's going to the battleground states, and that's a message. He's going to Pennsylvania, Minnesota, and Michigan, and that's a message to the Trump campaign. Get on it. The one thing you have is an advantage. You can speak for hours, and you have endless energy, Mr. President. Go out there and go do it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.